and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. I would also like to mention the ground rules that we will be following for today's meeting. Kindly ensure that your cell phones are switched off. In case you've logged in from your cell phone, do ensure that it is on silent mode. Kindly mute yourself once you finish speaking. Please ensure that you are in an area with less noise and less disturbance and one with good internet connection. Lastly, I'd like to request all of you to leave your videos on because your reactions motivate our speakers. With this, it's now time for my favorite segment of the day, the fact of the day. Did you know Lord Ganesh's divinity isn't just spread across India? In fact, he's worshipped in countries like Japan, Thailand, China, and Cambodia as well. We are now ready to begin. Sit back and relax as I hand over to the outgoing, warm, and super energetic president of our club, Toastmaster Sir Torio. When I asked him what his go-to festive tradition was, he said it was without a doubt sampling all the delectable sweets. Over to you, Toastmaster Sir Torio.
Thank you, Toastmaster Stuti, and you are looking as bright as ever. Welcome everybody to the 205th meeting of ICG Toastmasters Club.
Thank you.
For the benefit of the guest, Toastmasters is a non-profit organization that deals with public speaking and leadership skills. For this online meeting, the agenda of the meeting is put up in the chat box. The Zoom master, can you put the agenda again? Yeah. Please also do fill up our guest list. It's an online Google form, so that we can get in touch with you in the future. So to begin off this meeting, you know, Lord Ganesha has given the club the perfect gift. Our district director, TM Mukta, has joined our club, and our prestigious club has become even more prestigious. TM Mukta, welcome to the club.
Yay! Very happy to have you with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Can
But
you
now
say your
I'm
first?
just going forward. I'm just a member. Okay, so
Yeah, but can you give your first words as a member of the ICG Toastmasters Club?
yeah, actually, it's wonderful to be here, Mr. President and fellow Toastmasters and guests. And thank you, Umesh, so much for inviting me to join this club. I really never thought about it. And then when you said, please join, I said, yes, why not? You know, because any case, I love Goa so much and all of you members. So I am truly, truly happy and honored to be with you. Thank you, Sir Torio.
Thank you. The honor is all ours, DTM Mukta, and I'm sure with your guidance, the club will even soar to greater heights. We have another prestigious guest all the way from Thailand, a distinguished Toastmaster and an awesome speaker, Dr. Ani. Dr. Ani, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, to our president or your president, fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, I'm distinguished Toastmaster Ani. I'm from Bangkok Toastmasters Club. And I'm here because I was invited by Toastmaster Sotorio to visit your club. It's an honor, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy tonight's meeting.
Yeah. Thank you, DTM Ani. And I hope this is not the first time you visit our club. And we are hoping for a first member from Thailand. So fingers crossed. So our next guest is the guest list. Azildis, can you introduce yourself again?
Hi, I'm Azildis Souza. I'm a dental student at the Goa Dental College, and it's good to be here with all of you guys.
Thank you, Azildis, and hope you enjoy the meeting and hope you become a Toastmaster after the meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah, Max is a guest.
Yes, Max.
Yes.
from
Hi
Santa Cruz.
guys. Yeah, my name is Max. I'm from Santa Cruz. Yeah, I just got invited to this meeting. Would like to see how this goes out. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Max. Prashmit Bhatt.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Prashmit Bhatt. I'm a third year part 1 medical student at Goa Medical College. It's nice to be here. Nice to meet all of you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashmit, and hope that you become a Toastmaster soon.
Yeah.
Are there any other guests?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, let's get straight to business. The Toastmaster of the day. He is the youngest member of our club and probably in Toastmaster Goa fraternity. He has already made waves in ICG Toastmasters Club. He might look young and innocent, but you know what? He is a devil within. I'll tell you a secret about him. He actually stole modaks one day. From whom? From none other than Lord Ganesha. The full story, I'll let you hear from the horse's mouth. But for now, to begin the show, we have the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Aman Bageli.
Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Nirvignam Kurmadevo Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Hello everyone, I am Lord Ganesha, the Lord of New Beginning. I know many of you wonder, why do I have an elephant face? Haha, don't worry, I will show you how I got this cute elephant face.
High up in the Himalayas, my mother Parvati lived with her husband Shiva. One day, my mother sat down to make a sculpture of a boy. She carefully molded the clay and ended up making a cute little boy, chubby cheeks and everything. She looked at his chubby and rolly likeness and was very pleased with her creation. So, she decided to give it life. And this clay sculpture, me, came to life. We were both ecstatic. Since my mother had gotten dirty from making me, she decided to take a bath. As my father, the great Shiva, was away, she told me to guard the door and not let any strangers in. Now, I had never seen Shiva as I was just born. I sat outside, playing with a stick and minding my own business, when a large man, all blue and cool, came up to the hut. Not knowing who he was, I yelled, "Stop!" And he replied, "How dare you? I am Shiva." With that, he raised his Trishul and swiped off my head. Hearing the noise, my mother came running out of the hut and shrieked, "What have you done to our son? I made him out of the earth with such love, and you have gone and chopped his head off?" Boy, was Shiva in trouble. He promised my mother that he would find a suitable head for their little boy. So off he went into the forest. Bish, bash, boom! We heard a cacophony of sounds and then an elephant trumpet. Shiva was back in no time with the head of an elephant which he fixed onto me. He then patted me and told me how proud he was of me for fearlessly obeying my mother's orders and gave me blessings of prosperity and intelligence. Since then, I've been known by many, many names like Vignaharta, Siddhivinayak, and Vakratunda. And I am the remover of all obstacles.
So sweet, so cute story.
Ganpati Bappa Moria.
Moria.
Now you all know how Ganpati Bappa got his cute elephant face. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I am Aman Bagli and I am your Pujari, aka TMOD for today. Ganesh Chaturthi is a festival celebrated by many people all over the country to mark the birth anniversary of Lord Ganesha. It is a festival of happiness and togetherness. This festival was promoted highly by a freedom fighter, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, also known as Lokmanya Tilak, as he believed that this festival would spread unity amongst people. And yes, that's what's happened. In India, we give Ganpati Bappa a rapturous welcome with utmost unity. Today, we here at ICG will celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi in a slightly different manner. So by keeping this theme in our minds, let us proceed with our meeting. For the benefit of our guests, this meeting is divided into three major sections. The first one is the prepared speeches, where some of our members will come up with their thoughtful and out of which two are going to be icebreakers for today. The second section is the table topic section, where members without any roles and guests can participate. And the third section is my personal favorite, the evaluation section, where the evaluators will help us to learn more and improve ourselves. Now, our family is quite big. So to help the Pujari out, we have 3 role players. To all my role players and speakers, I ask them 2 questions. First, what is that one thing you love about this festival the most? Or what is your favorite memory about Ganesh Chaturthi? Starting with our role players, our first role player is the Grammarian. When I asked Toastmaster Monica this, she happily said that the one thing she loves about this festival is to cook variety of dishes, especially ukdeche modaks, for Lord Ganesh and for all her friends. I now call upon Toastmaster Monica to explain her role as the Grammarian. Over to you, Toastmaster Monica.
Toastmaster Monica, you need to switch.
Unmute yourself. What is the difference between a cat and a comma? A cat has claws at the end of its paws, whereas a comma is a pause at the end of a clause. Interesting, isn't it? Good evening, TMOD Aman, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. The beauty of English language lies in its grammar. But some say that grammar doesn't matter anymore, especially in a society where texting or use of slang terminology is becoming so popular. Who has time to worry about misplaced modifiers when you have a heap of emojis to choose from? However, the fact remains that in the formal scenario or in professional world, grammar is still a critical skill to master. So as a grammarian for today, I'll be keeping a track of some outstanding words, use of correct grammar, quotes, phrases, idioms, and correct pronunciation by the speakers today. I also will keep account on the usage of the word of the day, that is rapturous. Rapturous. Rapturous means a feeling or expression of great pleasure or enthusiasm. Some of the synonyms of this particular word are euphoric, ecstatic, elated, joyful. Few antonyms could be sad, sorrowful, gloomy, low-spirited. Few phrases which are synonymous to the word rapturous are over the moon, in the 7th heaven. If I talk about the usage of this particular word, it could be a professor was given a rapturous welcome by his students, or she was greeted with a rapturous applause. So before we start with our rapturous meeting, I would like to leave all of you with a thought. Have you ever wondered that every C in the word Pacific Ocean is pronounced differently? Think about it. I'll get back to you with my report. Thank you so much. Over to you, TMOD Aman.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Monica. I am eagerly waiting to eat your modaks.
Surely, I'll make it for you.
I would now call upon our next role player, the timer, to explain her role. When I asked Toastmaster Babita about this question, she said that her favorite memory was her first Ganesh celebration in Mumbai, where she experienced the true madness for the Ganpati Visarjan. Over to you, Toastmaster Babita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aman. Om Ganeshaya Namah. This is my first ever role in Toastmasters, and that too in a meeting with such an auspicious theme. So I had to start with Lord Ganesha's name, as all good things should begin. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Babita Agarwal, and I am in a state of rapturous excitement for today's meeting, as I am told to keep track of the most valuable thing in our life, the time. There is a famous saying, time waits for no man, not for we ladies either. It means time once lost can never be regained. Even though it is free, it's priceless. And it is so valuable that even if we spend millions, we cannot get a moment back. As a timer, my role is to remind all speakers and evaluators whether they are in stipulated time so that we don't run beyond agenda. So for today's meeting, to make it easy to understand, I'll be showing 3 color slides to indicate the time intervals. Now, like a traffic signal, the 3 slides will be green, yellow, and red. And they will even have similar meanings. Green will mean keep going, yellow will mean it's almost time to stop, and red will mean that you should stop now. We do have different time intervals for different roles in the meeting. For icebreakers, I will show green at 4 minutes, yellow at 5 minutes, and red at 6 minutes. For prepared speeches, green at 5 minutes, yellow at 6 minutes, and red at 7 minutes. For table topics, green at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes. For debates under table topics, green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and red at 3 minutes. And for evaluations, green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and red at 3 minutes. But unlike a traffic signal, we do give 30-second grace to stop completely. That means for speeches and evaluation, a grace of 30 seconds will be given before minimum time and after max time. But for table topics, speaker has to speak for at least 1 minute and 30 seconds will be given after max time. I will present my report when called upon by the general evaluator. Back to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Aman.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Babita. Our next role player and the final role player for today is the R counter. Toastmaster Gurmeet, when I asked her about her favorite memory of this festival, she said that in 2020, when there was a lockdown, she made the Ganpati idol with her own hands. Can you believe it? Aren't you surprised? I am too. I now request Toastmaster Gurmeet to come forward and explain her role. Over to you, Toastmaster Gurmeet.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aman. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks during the meeting. I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including and I will note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gurmeet. We now move on with our meeting and start with the first section, the prepared speech. Our first speaker for today is Toastmaster Nilofer. When I asked her what she loves the most about this festival, she said that she loved the spirit and togetherness. I would now like to call upon her evaluator, Toastmaster Shantanu, to state the objectives of her speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Shantanu.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. My speaker, Toastmaster Nilofer, will be doing her Level 1, Project 1 Icebreaker. And the purpose of her speech is to introduce herself to the club and understand the basic structure of a public speech. All the best, TM Nilofer.
Thank you, TM Shantanu and TMOD Aman. I hope I'm audible and visible to everyone.
Yes.
Yes.
1 minute,
Request the timer to just share her screen.
1 minute. Like Toastmaster Shantanu said, the title of her speech is The Turning Tide. The Turning Tide. Toastmaster Nilofer, the stage is all yours.
लहरों से डर के नौका कभी पार नहीं होती, लहरों से डर के नौका कभी पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. Life is a challenge, and a way to the challenge is to stay calm and plan your next right move. Good evening and a rapturous welcome to all my fellow Toastmasters and guests. And here's wishing everyone a happy Ganesh Chaturthi. I, Nilofer Syed, would like to take you through my journey of life, which has some happy and some not so happy moments. Back then, on 17th of June, my parents were blessed with a child. Though they were expecting a son, I came as a surprise. Like a typical Indian family, everyone told my mother, "You should have a son." To which my mother always replied that my daughters would make me proud one day. I was the most loved among my 3 sisters and we shared a very close bonding. As a curious little child, I had a lot of dreams and an ambition to be a doctor, that too a vet, as I loved animals. As a chubby kid, I was very bad at sports, but equally good in academics. We lived together as a happy small family, sharing a lot of love, care, and affection. But unfortunately, God had other plans. Soon our life began to change. My father faced losses in his business, and it soon started affecting us. My parents often fought and argued. We were deprived of things and didn't have enough money. As a child, it deeply affected me and I started becoming more introvert and the fear of facing others started building up. In 2003, when I had my final exam, we were traumatized to hear the loss of my sister. I lost my younger sister in a road accident. This incident totally broke me apart. I stopped believing in God. But my mother, even after facing all the odds, stood by me as my pillar of strength and supported and encouraged me. She taught me to be an independent woman and always said, work hard and one day things would change. As I was always fascinated by science, I did my graduation in chemistry and soon began to work for a pharma company. But then I realized this is not what I wanted to come to. As I came across an opportunity in Vedanta to work as a chemist, I applied and cleared the interview. Soon I was ready to start my new job. But then a beautiful twist happened. My company placed me in HR department. HR? What does HR mean? I don't even know the full form. And what all do they do? This was a total new domain for me. Clueless about what exactly the HR's role is in an organization, I took this chance to turn this into an opportunity or a choice. I worked very hard and I started from scratch, gave my 200% to learn and excel in my performance, and took up every role as an opportunity to convert it into the best I could. I eventually also pursued my MBA in HR. As I was focused on my career, marriage was never in my list. But on a friend's recommendation, I created my profile on shadi.com. And that turned out to be an opportunity to meet my true companion. 8 years back, exactly on this date, on the 15th of September, we got married, and I was fortunate to have the best ever family and an extremely supportive husband who encouraged me to pursue my career even after marriage. We are proud parents of a daughter, and I'm reliving my childhood through her now. As it is said, life's low tide allow you to appreciate the beauty hidden beneath the surface. Today, when I sit back and ponder, I feel a sense of accomplishment that I have reached the pinnacle of my voyage. I am a proud mother, a supportive wife, and a caring daughter. My mother has always been my role model. I was privileged to fulfill all her dreams. I even bought a house for her, which was thus far my greatest achievement. Professionally, I head HR and I lead a team of individuals and guide them through their journey. I'm one of the star performers in the organization and have won numerous awards for my great work. The recent one being from the CEO of the organization. I'm enjoying my successful career as an independent woman, and my journey continues. Thus, friends, never give up, for that is just the place and time the tides would turn. And सच में कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Wow. And give her round of applause for speech.
Aman, we all stand as icebreaker. Let's all stand and applaud her.
We can now have a minute so that you all can give your feedbacks in the chat box. Timer, please. Time. Timer, is the time over?
Speaker unqualified.
No, the 1 minute we had given them for feedbacks.
Yeah, Aman, you can proceed.
Let's proceed. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Lloyd. When I asked him these questions, he said that the thing he loves about this festival is spending the holidays, meeting friends, sharing sweets, and spreading happiness. I will now like to call upon his evaluator, Toastmaster Arti, to state the objectives of his speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Arti.
A very good evening to all of you. TM Lloyd will be presenting his Level 1, Project 1. Path is Engaging Humor. And the title for his speech today is Yes, I can. Yes, I will. All the best, TM Lloyd.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
It was in the 80s. The boxing arena was buzzing with energy. The hustle and the bustle all around. But amidst all that chaos, there was a boy, all by himself, sitting on that substitute bench. There were plenty of opportunities, but he neither had the courage nor the will to take it up. This was a boy with no friends, a boy whose only companion was himself. This was Lloyd during the first decade of his tournament called life. Good evening, Toastmasters and my dear friends. One fine day, our parish priest, Father Conceição de Silva, happened to meet my life coach, who happened to be no one else but my mother, the only lady with a XX chromosome that I actually spoke to. He happened to come across the Navy Times. Navy Times was a handwritten news publication that I would release for myself every 15 days. It had news of the world around, which I admired, but did not dare to be a part of. He suggested to my mother that I should join the parish youth organization. The parish priest saw something in me that even I failed to recognize. So I was scared. I said I wouldn't, but my mother was adamant and I had no choice. How bad could it get, I said. Worst case scenario, if I don't like it, I always have that seat on the reserve bench waiting for me. So there I was, putting up my boxing gloves and my gear, ready to take my first lesson in social interaction. Being a member of the Kalangut Parish Youth was a beautiful opportunity to meet youngsters from different parts of Goa. And within a short span of time, this boy who would never get off that reserve bench was not only participating, but he was ready to lead. Within a year, I was the treasurer of the group. And the following year, I was elected the president of the Kalangut Parish Youth Organization. The stage was then set for that perfect moment, the All Goa Youth Convention. I'm at the Don Bosco grounds in Panjim. I was excited when I got a call asking me to host the event. But under all that excitement and happiness was a nervous boy, because I had never ever organized an event where over 2,000 youngsters would actually be in front of me. But with my mentor, I went ahead and we did it. The scene was similar to that boxing arena. The hustle and the bustle all over again. I could feel the rapturous excitement on the ground. But this time, the boy was not on the bench. He was leading and made sure that the event was a very successful one. I went on to complete my education. I did my MBBS, my post-graduation in occupational medicine, and further studies in postgraduate clinical research. Moved to Mumbai, where I did my residency in intensive medical care at Bhatia Hospital in Tardev, and finally returned home when my dad decided to open our very own nursing home in Kalangut. It was time to get married. So I was married to Nadia, who is an orthodontist, and I was blessed with two beautiful daughters. The younger one, Annalise, who is a gymnastic fan, and Athena, my elder daughter, who is currently the head girl of Sharda Mandir School. So what's different in me now? Instead of being that solo player, I now believe in teamwork. Even when it comes to extracurricular activities like my running or my cycling, I have my fitness buddies with me. When it comes to my dancing, I have my friends at the Dance Solutions Dance Academy with me. Not forgetting my Harley Davidson motorcycle riders who share love and brotherhood as we ride across the country. So what have I learned over the years? I have learned not to allow the fear of what could happen make nothing happen. After all, confidence does not come from always being right, but from not fearing to sometimes being wrong. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Wow, let us once again stand up and give Toastmaster Lloyd a round of applause, as this was his first speech too.
Thank you.
Okay, now we can have a minute for your feedbacks in the chat box. Timer, please tell me.
You can proceed.
Okay. Our third speaker for today is Toastmaster Kriya. When I asked her about these questions, she said that her family would come together for Chaturthi, and her uncle, who was a freedom fighter, would narrate the stories of freedom struggle. I would now like to call upon her evaluator, Toastmaster Perry, to state the objectives of her speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Perry.
Thank you. Thank you, Aman. Good evening, Toastmasters and fellow guests. Toastmaster Kriya is giving a level 1 speech from Project 2.2, part Strategic Relationship. Her speech title is Finding True Love. The purpose for this project is for Kriya to present a well-organized speech. It could be in humor, it could be informational, or any style or topic she chooses. And most importantly for the speech that is required is she has to receive feedback and apply from the evaluator. So this speech that Kriya is going to deliver today is based on the past feedback which she has delivered a year back. And she has received a feedback from an evaluator, and she's going to apply that particular feedback and to improve it. Floor is yours, Toastmaster Kriya, for Finding True Love.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Paddy.
Finding True Love, Toastmaster Kriya. The stage is all yours.
Yeah, thank you. Am I visible, audible?
Yes, Kriya, you are visible and audible.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Hands in the dirt, head in the sun, heart with nature. To nurture a garden is to feed not just the body, but the soul. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. My love for gardening came from my grandmother, who took great care of her plants, just like she would of her children. She watered them, made sure they were never infected, and allowed them to grow. She was confident and alive, resonating with nature, and often felt a passionate look, a touch, or even a hug on a plant was enough to open our inner eyes, rather than going for some serious yoga and other such therapies. And she vouched for her health and happiness based on this horticulture therapy that she practiced. Life, as they say, takes over. And eventually, I got busy with my studies. After graduating, I got married and life moved on. Recently, I happened to attend a seminar on food quality and cardiovascular risk factors and was shocked with some of the revelations on the deteriorating quality of fruits and vegetables. Market surveys report mega doses of fertilizers and pesticides being used for higher yield and for economic benefits. We all are at risk. This food is slow poison, which can lead to cancer, cardiovascular, and other chronic diseases. Health should be thought of as an integral part of our life that is so effortless, so common sense, so organic that we could make permanent, lasting changes to our life without turning it upside down, merely by monitoring the quality of our food intake, an evolution of ourselves, not an instant revolution. Now that we are aware, the question that arises is, how do we go about growing our own food, as most of us stay in apartments? Well, our very own Toastmaster Marcy has made this practically possible for us. If you can recall, in one of our Toastmasters meeting, wherein the theme was going green, Toastmaster Marcy had given us a glimpse of a secluded home garden by sharing some of the most delightful pictures and thereby revealing the secret of a revived energy and instilling in us a great sense of gratification. That it reminded me of the early 90s of Goa, when we used to eat the locally grown vegetables. The fabulous meals were a treat, and it provided a host of benefits, including better health, more energy, improved digestion, better skin, and a reduced risk of cardiovascular diseases. These vegetables being harvested and consumed in real time. But with globalization, the tension is naturally high. We having put our health at stake. But sometimes too late is just in time. For years, we have been plowing dirt to grow our food. In fact, we have got so good at it that over 80% of the world's farmable land is already in use. By 2050, we can expect another 3 billion people to join us for dinner. In many places, produce travels miles before finally reaching the table, thus losing its nutrients and taste along the way. People have started taking inspiration from nature. Technology, it's a vital part of who we are and what we can achieve. It can affect, transform, and surprise us. Most of the countries have already enacted lucrative means for alternative farming techniques, such as tower gardens, vertical hydroponics, aeroponics, to feed its people with fresh harvest. Some of the schools have even adopted it in their curriculum so that children learn the value of eating healthy at an early age. The least that we could do as individuals is to take the responsibility for our health by starting with something as basic as kitchen gardening. Besides, there's no greater joy than eating the food that is grown with our own hands. Now, last year, I had visited my sister's family in Bangalore. During this pandemic, they've entirely converted a room into a kitchen garden. In a box window grill space, we can grow basic edible plants along with some herbs and also microgreens. Seeds will germinate within 5 days when exposed to sunlight and the soil gets moist. For better yield, use compost, which can be easily prepared at home from your kitchen waste. My sister has rightly said, using kitchen waste to grow one's own food represents the perfect circle of life. Within 10 days of sowing, these microgreens are ready to be consumed. Having fresh veggies grow in our windowsills, we could definitely turn our sandwiches and salads into a more gourmet feast. What more could I ask for? My sister satiated my palate with the tastiest and nutritious hot vegetable soup. Her newly developed hobby inspired me. It reminded me of my grandmother, of my love for gardening, which I had lost over time. But they say, true love has the habit of coming back. And I'm glad to have finally found mine. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster.
you so much, Toastmaster Kriya. Let us all give her a round of applause. We can have a minute for your feedbacks in the chat box.
We can proceed.
Thank you. Our fourth and the final speaker for today is nobody else but Toastmaster Aditi. She says that her favorite memory about this festival was in when she danced and enjoyed with her friends in the PG. I will now like to call upon her evaluator, Toastmaster Vishwaja, to state out her objectives of the speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Aman. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Toastmaster Aditi is doing her level 1 project 2.1 in her path effective coaching. The purpose of her project is to present a speech in any style, receive a feedback, and then apply this feedback in the subsequent speech. This is her first speech, and her speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best, Toastmaster Aditi. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishwaja. The title of a speech is The Life in a Wheelchair. The Life in a Wheelchair, Toastmaster Aditi. The stage is all yours.
Am I audible and visible?
Yes. Go ahead.
Imagine your hands are folded up and tight. Imagine your leg is stiff and you cannot walk. Imagine you want to speak, but your mouth won't open. You are dependent on someone 24/7. Imagine living this life on a wheelchair. Now, as you are imagining, there are approximately 17 million people around the globe who are living a life somewhat similar to this. It's 8 a.m. and according to my schedule, I'm roaming on the streets with my dad. And as usual, all the eyes are on me. As after all, I'm on a wheelchair. Some are looking at me with that pity attitude, which I don't like. And some are just wondering, why am I on a wheelchair? And that might be probably what even you are wondering. Well, I'll explain. I was born an adorable baby. My curly brown hair and my fair complexion got my neighbors to think I'm a foreigner. And my sister tells me I'm adopted till date, which I'm not. I was 3 when my parents realized I couldn't balance while walking and my speech wasn't clear. After numerous tests and CT scan, they found out I have cerebral palsy, commonly known as CP, which is a group of disorder which affects a person's ability to move and maintain balance. Cerebral means having to do with the brain and palsy means weakness with using the muscles. The cause for my diagnosis was a damage to a small part of my brain just because I was not made to cry immediately after my birth, which caused my nerves to not open up fully, resulting in reduction of oxygen supply. My parents were disheartened to hear this. After all, my parents were disheartened to hear this. No parents want to hear that the child cannot live a normal life. There is no cure for CP, but there are treatments like physiotherapy. My parents had hopes. They had hopes in their prayers, and they still do. My life was still normal until the age of 9. I used to go to a normal school, but then the surrounding there soon became toxic, and I was teased by my friends for my condition. Then I was shifted to a special school for CP, where I got my treatment along with my therapy. I have been to numerous places for my treatment. In fact, I even stayed in different countries for my treatment.
But even after all this, my condition just became worse. And I was told my condition will degrade as I grow older. And hence, here I am. I cannot walk without support. I can barely speak. And my hands are stiff. But you know what the good part is? Even though I cannot speak, I have my own ways to communicate. Like, I raise my hand or point if I want something. For instance, if I want to watch a movie, I raise my right hand. And if I want to watch a TV show, I raise my left hand. I raise my left hand. I have a strict schedule which I follow every day. This keeps me happy. I like to go out, meet new people, travel, wear new clothes, and eat good food. And I do all this. I do not hesitate to go out just because I'm different. The cerebral palsy is not contagious, but my smile is. And as I'm roaming down the streets, I just pass on a rapturous smile to everyone looking at me. After all, I like spreading happiness. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, this is the story of my 7 years and 4 days younger sibling, my sister Mahi. Being a sister to a CP patient is special because she is special. Any obstacle could come her way and she will face it with a smile on her face. I'm a proud sister. She has taught me so much that I could never have learned from anyone else. People with CP may not be able to walk, talk, live a normal life. And people say they do not have future. But it's about not living a normal life. It's about living a happy life. It's not about the future. It's about the present. And some things just aren't in our hands. We cannot be fair to these people. We cannot give them a fair life. But we do have the power to make their life joyful by just understanding them, not feeling pity, and just being there for them. Be it CP or autism, every child is unique and there is speciality in every disability. And as it is famously said, sometimes these are real heroes stay in the hearts of small children fighting big battles. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
All right, clap for her. Well done, Toastmaster Aditi. We can have a minute for your feedbacks in the chat box.
You can proceed.
With this, we come to an end of the first section of the prepared speeches. I would now request the Zoom master to launch the polls for the best speakers. Are we done?
Oh. Toastmaster Aman, can we all take a picture together?
Yes.
Can everyone switch on their cameras? Okay, on the count of 3, I'm clicking a picture. Yeah, we're done.
You done?
Yeah.
Toastmaster Sartorio said that I robbed Modaks. Let me elaborate on that. When I was small, I went to my mom's friend's house and they offered us Modaks. And I loved those Modaks. And when I ate, it was only one was left. So I ate that. And I really wanted more. And when I asked Auntie, please, can you lend me some Modaks? She said it was all over. And the only modaks that were there was in the plate that was kept right in front of Ganpati Bappa for Neved, meaning to offer it to him. I went over there, saw that nobody was there, took out tissue papers, put 4 modaks into it, put it in my pant, and went to my mom and put it in her purse. My mom did not know that there were modaks till she reached homes. And those people were searching for the modaks so that they could offer to Lord Ganesh. But then in the end, they had to only offer fruits. Yeah. So moving on, we now move on to the second section, that is the table topic section. It is like when your relatives come home for Ganesh and ask you such questions that you have to think and answer them on the spot. So wait, don't exit the meeting, because if you do, next time your relatives will ask you such questions that you'll have to sit there and your skills won't grow. Our table topic master. A minute. Our table topic master says that she loves seeing the different Ganpati decorations, especially the Matoli. Over to you, table topic master Nelly.
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you're audible.
Welcome to a fun and frolic session, the table topic session. Let's start this rapturous evening by giving the Toastmasters, the seasoned Toastmasters, the topic first and then the guest. So I will, for my table topic, I would choose one of you all and I will take, I guess, TM Naveen. Are you there, TM Naveen? Toastmaster Naveen, are you there? Toastmaster Naveen, are you there?
I think he's left.
Okay.
If Toastmaster Naveen is there, I will be volunteering.
Akshay.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, Akshay, you're audible. And your
yeah,
topic.
But I want to start my video because I'm out of station and I'm at my native. So there'll be bandwidth issue.
Yes.
But timer, please make some sound device, or you can send me through my personal Zoom chat. Okay. Toastmaster Babita, right? Timer.
Clap after each interval.
I guess your network is fluctuation. Yeah, you continue, Toastmaster Nelly. So you can write me. You can put on a chat box to me. My private chat. Zoom.
I will clap every time.
Your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking, Babita.
Okay. Okay. I'll type in the chat box.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Toastmaster Akshay, your topic is if
Yes.
you were to be Lord Ganesha. Okay. If you were to be Lord Ganesha, what would be some of your solutions you would give to the people who are suffering from COVID-19? What would be some of your solutions given to people who are suffering from COVID-19? You are Lord Ganesha.
Okay.
Over to you, Akshay.
I am here as Lord Ganesha, and I'm very concerned about my devotees. People are calling me Vigna Vinashak. Yes, I am the destroyer of the obstacles. I am very compassionate God. Nowadays, people are suffering with pandemic, that is coronavirus disease. I'd like to give a small solution to them. Please worship me. I'll destroy this virus within a month. That much potential I have. And I'm assuring you all, 2022, this virus will die. And you can celebrate my rapturous festival every year, just like how you used to celebrate every year. I'll destroy this virus one day. Please give me some time. I'm very busy, God. People are coming to ask many problems. Please give me some time. I'll destroy this virus. And next year, you can visit to worship me in person. Nelly, Toastmaster Nelly Pereira, are you interested to come to visit me at Lalbagh, Mumbai? Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akshay. It was really indeed a very sweet Ganesha who's going to destroy all the COVID around us and all the viruses around us. And definitely I shall come to visit you in Mumbai if you're going to give a solution like this in future. Thank you, Toastmaster Akshay. Now, is DTM Mukta and TM Sharmila around? I would like to call them for a debate.
Oh Lord, I'm there. Mukta, are you there?
I think DTM Gupta is out. So DTM Ani. Sorry?
Yes, DTM Anis. Yes, Anis.
DTM Ani.
Ani.
Yes.
Yes. And your topic is, it's about festival being boon or a bane. Anyone could take any of the boon. Festivals are a boon or a bane. Festivals being a boon or a bane.
A debate.
A debate between both.
Okay, Arnie, what would you like to take?
It's your lady's choice. I'll follow you.
Okay, I'll take Bane. I'll take Bane. All right?
Yes.
And Toastmaster Ani, let's, cut each other off in between. I'm fine with that. If you stop me talking in between where you want to say what you wish to say. All right? Okay, so can we start with the boon then?
Oh.
Smart, aren't I?
I thought you're going to start and I'll follow your path.
You go ahead with the boon.
For me, festivals are boon because a lot of people, they celebrate it in a way that they spend a lot of money. That for me, it's not really a good way of doing it. Because anyway, there are more special occasions in our lives, in our private lives. Because some people I can see that not just in Thailand, not only in the Philippines, but I'm sure also in India, wherein they spend a lot of money. And I think that it's useless. I believe that there are other ways to do it, and it can be also in a quiet way of doing it. It doesn't have to be, what am I doing sometimes when there are some festivals? Because for me, I think it's somehow it's affecting not just myself, but the people around me. So I believe it's a boon. Festivals, it's...
All right. You say it's a boon.
Yes.
Yet you have brought out some negative points about it. While I will speak about the negative, as that is the bane of celebrations. And to me, celebrations have now become a bane to life, to our days, to our times. It has become a lot of money. It has become a lot of pollution. It's only to do with sound more than sheer feelings or emotions behind the celebration. So in that sense, I would say that it is a bane rather than a boon. It would have been a boon if it had been taken in the right, virtuous manner. But unfortunately, in today's time, celebrations have become more a bane than a boon. Toastmaster Arnie, what do you have to say?
I know you're going to say that. That's why it's my turn to say that it's a boon.
Okay, go on.
You know, festivals are very important because the meaning behind all these festivals. And I believe they are reminders of our history, of the past, and it's a reminder of why we are and who we are at the moment. Even if though there are like some people who actually spend a lot of money for it, I think it's worth it because we have to celebrate this kind of festivals because every now and then we have to remind ourselves that life is beautiful, that there are many things that we are thankful for, especially during this time of pandemic. Sometimes
I agree, Toastmaster Ani, but I reiterate, these are all idealistic thoughts. These are all what should be, but is it how it is? It's not. I'm afraid that all the other points that I have brought about has overcome and overshadowed the real idealistic meaning behind a celebration. No more is it the connect with the God or connect with people. It is more today to do with shiny clothes to wear, gifts to be given, food to be eaten. There's a surplus of everything, when during the pandemic we should have been more careful with our expenditure. People have lost jobs, but yet during celebrations people have forgotten that and are spending money which they cannot afford to spend. So in that sense, having a celebration has become a bane to many people. Over to you, or are we don't have time?
Do you have time? I'm sorry, I was confused at the beginning.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ani and Toastmaster Sharmila. It was indeed a boon of a session between both of you. I guess both of you didn't get the meaning of boon, but it is, boon means something which is nice and bane means something which is negative. Anyways, let's move on to our next topic. I would call Toastmaster Max. Is he in the room? Zoom Master, is Toastmaster Max in the room?
No.
He's not there.
Okay.
I think Azildis, yeah.
Azildis, can you unmute yourself and show me your beautiful face for the next topic? And the topic is, if Lord Ganesha was your friend, what would you ask him for all of us? What would you ask him for all of us? Something which you will ask for all of us. Your topic goes like this. If Lord Ganesha was your friend, what would you ask him for all of us?
Lord Oddity and intelligence, I would ask him to bless everybody with intelligence so that, the reserved and the deserved, we do not have this distinction, so that everyone is equal in their positions and there is equality, and also in happiness and prosperity, because at the current situation, the world is amazing. So if Lord Ganesha was my friend, a very heart-to-heart conversation, I would definitely ask him this. Thank you.
You still have time, Azilda. You can go on. You can talk something more about it.
Hello, is anyone there?
Yes, can you hear me? There is time. You can still talk about it.
Yes, I can hear.
Yes.
I don't have anything to add to this.
Don't be so nice, Azilda. You can ask for money.
Okay, then definitely I'll ask him for money.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Zilda. If I wish for intelligence.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyways, we move on to our next table topic.
Shalaka.
I call Toastmaster Shalaka. Toastmaster Shalaka, your topic is, can you tell me one traditional method of celebrating Chaturthi? One traditional method which is used in celebrating Chaturthi.
Now, there are two versions that I heard, one from my mama and one from my husband. Now, I'll tell you first that I heard from my mama. My mama told me that Chaturthi is the 4th day of the Bhadrapad month. Bhadrapad is the month that is the month in the Hindu calendar. So on the 4th day, Ganpati started writing the Mahabharat, if I'm not mistaken. And we started writing the Mahabharat, and on the 11th day, that is Anant Chaturdashi, is the day when he finished. Now, it is believed that there was so much of information and so much of knowledge that he was told, that he started getting heated up with all the knowledge. It was too much to take in. And so that he should be, you say you have to be, there should be Shanta, like, you should be cool down, basically. So that is how on the 11th day, there is the immersion of the idol. So that is one version that I heard from my mama. Now, my husband belongs to the Bicholi Taluka, and his family is into farming. So the version that I have heard from my husband is when the rains start in Goa, June, July, there is a lot of paddy growing that is done, and it grows. By the time it is Ganesh Chaturthi, it grows, and it did not have the commercialized aspect that is there right now. The field mud is taken. It is structured into an idol that is to feature or to look like a Ganpati. It is a way of saying thank you. Before that, we have Nag Panchami, where the Nag Devta is worshipped so that the crop is not destroyed by the rats. Now, when the crop has grown, it is the Ganpati that has to be worshipped to say thank you for the good crop. And on the second day, that is the Panchami, the newly grown crop or the freshly grown crop is cut and offered to Ganpati on the Panchami. That is the second day of Ganesh Chaturthi. And once you have worshipped, once you have had your vote of thanks for Ganpati Bappa, depending on the time that you want to worship, Ganpati Bappa is immersed after saying your thank yous. But now I feel there is a lot of commercialization. When I got married around 16 years ago and I went to the village for this celebration, it was quite a sober and nice celebration. But now it is more of selfies with Ganpati Bappa and a lot of loudspeakers. I can barely, and poor Ganpati Bappa is sitting there and we are eating everything. It is like, I like the stories that are there behind. And I feel people should now revert back to the older tradition, because that is the essence actually of Ganesh Chaturthi. Not what we have right now, the firecrackers and the bombs and the loud music and the dancing on the streets and the pollution of the water bodies is not what is the essence of Ganesh Chaturthi right now. And it's nice to hear it in the stories. I hope they become a reality soon and the younger generation starts understanding what it is actually about. So that is what I know, and I'm glad I could share that with you.
I wish to hear more from you. I really found it very informative, and I felt like a teacher in you just evoked during the evening session.
Couldn't help it.
Just a quick point, if I may just bring it up. Babita Can you just check on the timing card? I don't think you showed the cards this time properly. At least I was not able to see the green and the yellow. It went straight on to red.
She just had network issues.
Yeah. Okay, so just check on that.
Next, Daima, do we have time for another topic?
Why don't you give it to Veena or Smita? Our new members.
Okay. TM Smita.
Yes.
Okay. Your topic is, what do you enjoy the most from all the festival seasons? Okay, all the festival seasons. What do you enjoy the most?
Okay.
To you, Toastmaster.
Apart from delicacies and all, I enjoyed saying artis, because from childhood onwards, we've not been taught. We've learned it by when the elders are saying it, we are saying it. Also, our grandmother used to sometimes give the explanation after all the celebration and all the things are over. She used to sit with all her grandchildren and explain the meaning of the artis to us. So that's a way of communicating to the God. That is what I feel, and I love it till today. And I make it a point that at least one time, we have 1.5 days of Ganpati. So before the immersion, at least once I, along with other ladies or other friends and family, I say the artis or sing the artis to Lord Ganesha. That's my part of devotion to my Lord. And I feel the connect with the Lord when I say it, because I'm saying it with the meaning which is always coming to my mind, explained by my grandmother. So all the best to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Smita. I wish if we had more time, I would allow you to sing an arti for us. It would be really nice. But now we move on to our next table topic. Do we have timer, or we are done?
Is Divina there?
Divina, okay.
We still have 2 minutes.
Yeah, Divina can do it.
Yes. Divina, your topic is? Yes, hi.
Hi.
Good evening, yes.
Good evening.
If you're in charge of designing a new calendar of festivals, what would be one new festival which you would include in your calendar? If you were to design the calendar of festivals, what would be one new festival you would innovate, or you would bring in mind to change the calendar or include in your calendar?
You're talking about an entirely new festival, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I think we could probably inculcate a festival which goes around the olden and traditional games like Coco, Gilli Danda, all of those, which have a lot of meaning and value. I'm sorry, I'm sounding very cold, but I have a cold, but yes, so I was thinking about those kind of games, because now these sort of games are dying and a lot of the newer generation are not aware of it. So if we could have a festival that includes all these kind of games, I think that would be great for the newer generations to understand what sort of games were played in the previous years. Thank you.
Okay. So moving on to the festival which Divina wants to, I would like to talk a little bit about it. It is a nice innovative form of festival, and it would include a lot of the traditional games. And we recently had a festival in our school, which was Madache Fest, wherein we, used all the coconut products and all the things made of the coconut, and we actually had a gulli danda, but with the coconut shell. And we had the 7 tiles, and our students really participated. So I could really relate to what you said, and the festival would really make sense if we use all our traditional ways of using and having less of pollution, less of other things which are, a bane to the festival season. Thank you, And I hope you all had a good time. And that was it from the Table Topic Master. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Aman.
Thank you so much, Table Topic Master Nelly. They were a bunch of good table topics. As I have reached to the end of my role, I would love to say this once again and loudly. Ganpati Bappa Moria.
Moria.
And now I would love to tell you a small fact. Do you all know why do they say Ganpati Bappa Moria?
Yes.
Well, if you don't, I will tell you. Moria Goswami was an honest and very determined man. He was a true devotee of Lord Ganesh. He prayed so much that Lord Ganesh was pleased and offered him whatever he wanted. But Moria Goswami, being a true devotee, denied and pleased with this gesture. With this, his devotion to Lord Ganesh became very happy and told him that whenever my name is taken, your name will be joined to it. And people will remember your true devotion. And with this, we come to the third and the last section of our meeting, evaluation. Our general evaluator is everyone's favorite. She says she loves making patolios and modak with her mom and really enjoys the mother-daughter bonding. Over to you, Toastmaster Stuti.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Aman.
Toastmaster Stuti, before you start, can we do the polls for the table topics?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Zoom Master.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Stuti, you can continue.
Okay. Ganpati Bappa Moria, Purcha Varshi Lokarya. These are the words lovingly uttered in every household on the final day of Ganesh Chaturthi, the day of Visarjan. Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. As you all know, Visarjan marks the bittersweet end to all the rapturous festivities that constitute Ganesh Chaturthi. It has the excitement and hubbub of sending off our favorite Lord in style, mixed with the downcast feeling of the end of a joyous celebration. I can't help but correlate this bittersweet feeling to the final segment of our meeting, general evaluation. For here, we lovingly look back at our meeting and reflect on all the things we did right while also looking for any room for improvement. But we do so with a bit of a heavy heart because this segment marks the end of an exciting session. The general evaluation has 3 segments. First, we have our 4 evaluators who shall be giving their feedback on the 4 very eloquent speeches we had the pleasure of witnessing today. After this, we have our tag team report, wherein our grammarian, timer, and our counter, who've been diligently observing throughout the meeting, shall give their reports. And then finally, to wrap it all up, I shall give my general evaluator's report of the whole meeting. So without further ado, I'd like to call upon our first evaluator, Toastmaster Shantanu, who evaluated Toastmaster Nilofar's speech. Toastmaster Shantanu says, the one thing that always gets him in the festive mood is the smell of sweets like modaks and burfis, coupled with the excitement of wearing traditional clothes. Over to you, Toastmaster Shantanu.
Am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. What a rapturous speech that was. Normally, whenever a speaker is done with their speech and I'm their evaluator, I tend to mute my laptop and start scribbling on my notepad. But this time, I waited because there was so much to take in, so many emotions, so much matter, that I went blank for a minute, not knowing where to begin. Toastmaster Nilofer started with a very simple but effective quote on how to deal with the various challenges in life, that with a calm and composed mind. This is something she has shown while delivering her speech. Despite it being her icebreaker, not for a second did I feel that she was conscious about her surroundings. Instead, much like her initial quote, she delivered it with a calm and solemn view. My speaker, through her speech, highlighted the beauty of a mother-daughter relationship. Every time she mentioned her mother, we could hear the pride in her voice and the impact her mother has created on her life. The turning tide. How beautifully has our speaker connected the title with her speech? Loss of loved ones, the fear of failure, the extremely relatable aspect of being lost in your career. These are hurdles we all face, yet turning those hurdles into opportunities. That's what it's all about. And TM Nilofer has aptly stressed on these points. Never giving up. Seems simple, right? But it's one of the hardest things we as individuals face. And in her speech, she has shown these traits of never giving up. If I had to suggest a few recommendations to our speaker in order to enhance her future speeches, a little bit of emotion, bit more of emotions and expressions. Your speech is one with a lot of matter and extremely impactful to us. You know the content, your mother knows the content, but we need to feel the content. All in all, a well-structured and well-aligned speech. We all await for your next endeavor. All the best, Toastmaster Nilofer. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shantanu, for that beautiful evaluation. Up next, I'd like to call upon our second evaluator, Toastmaster Aarti, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Lloyd's speech. Now, I asked Toastmaster Aarti if she was given the opportunity to invent a festival of her own, what would it be? And she said she would call it Human Day. What is Human Day, you ask? Human Day would celebrate humanity. It would be a day where everyone would just drop all their facades, take off their masks, and celebrate being human together. That sounds like a very beautiful festival. Over to you, Toastmaster Aarti.
Thank you, Toastmasters Stuti. A very good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and my dear Toastmaster Lloyd. Trust me, I learned so much of the less known you today. I guess I knew just the tip of the iceberg earlier. The honesty and the genuinity in your speech was endearing. Admitting one's vacuums can truly be challenging, but you bravely spoke about the battles you fought in your boxing arena. The metaphors you used were so apt. For example, you spoke about your mother being your life coach. Thinking about it, yes, that means so much. Another very, very important and a very interesting example or metaphor you used was about calling life a boxing arena. So true, we get boxed and punched at different stages with all the hustle and bustle it involves. The transition of life was so smooth, from you being that little 10-year-old to growing up to where you are today. Or like you said, from solo to teamwork. You're surely a born entertainer, and it is motivating to learn that you never gave up on yourself. Remarkable. There was apt voice modulation, choice of words were wonderful, and hats off to your confidence. It really took me some time to grasp and believe that you were this one who would so apprehensively sit by yourself to who you are today, so warm, so wonderful, and so well groomed. The pace was perfect, and you maintained excellent eye contact with everyone. You came close to the screen where necessary while making a point, and you used precise hand gestures. At one point of time, I could imagine a little 10-year-old Lloyd sitting by himself trying to make sense of life. The only recommendations that I would like to put across would be to rather stand and perform the next time so that you're using the screen space a little more, doing justice the allotted space. So when you're talking about your transition of life, and then your childhood could have been maybe to the left of the screen and then eventually moving to the right as you just groomed yourself right. So that could have been a little using the doing justice rather to the screen space available. That is the only recommendation that I have. You ended your speech with a bang. To quote, confidence does not come from always being right, but from not fearing to sometimes being wrong. Fabulous takeaway. Overall, a gripping speech. You shelled up your life, the story, the entire way in a very powerful self-belief and a rapturous journey. Truly, God helps those who help themselves. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aarti, for that lovely evaluation. Before I call upon our third evaluator, I would like to point out that our evaluators follow a certain technique for their evaluations. This technique is called the sandwich method. So in the sandwich method, our evaluator starts off by stating certain positive points of our speaker's speech. Then they'll give about 1 or 2 recommendations and then wrap it all up on a positive note again. This encourages our speaker while also helping them because with this method, they learn points on which they can improve upon. I would now like to call upon our third evaluator, Toastmaster Paddy, who will be evaluating our third speaker, Toastmaster Kriya. When I asked Toastmaster Paddy what his favorite festival was and why, he replied saying it was Pongal, a 4-day-long festival where he'd go to the village and spend time with his grandparents. The third day of Pongal was all about showing gratitude to cattle, and he'd celebrate it by decorating the cattle, coloring their horns, and worshipping them. All in all, it sounds like great fun. Over to you, Toastmaster Paddy.
Thank you, Toastmaster Suti. Toastmasters Kriya's story. It all began with what's your hobby? That she had acquired from your grandmother. That's how the story starts. It was nice listening to you when you start connecting it to the hobby and slowly, gradually started relating it to a therapy. It was a new perspective. You opened a new window. In fact, it recalls me some readings that I have done earlier about gardening as a therapy. In fact, I could connect with it. You used words such as passion, hug, and in fact, it is a kind of an argument that you have made to convince the audience about the importance of your speech in first few seconds itself. In a simple word, you made it like an alternate therapy itself. That is therapy. From there, you gradually moved into explaining the negative aspects of using vegetables that are available in the market. You also informed us about toxic presence and consequences of those vegetables to our physical health. At this juncture, I want to point you here. You're presenting a gloomy picture, but at the same time, you also gave a hope and showed a light at the end of the tunnel by saying Too late is just in time. That's a powerful statement. When you brought us low, you also took us up. You're quite careful in giving positive stories than boring advices. Nowhere you said do's and don'ts. You brought life stories. They are very neighborhood stories. One picked from your sister, another picked from our own dear own Marcia. The stories are neighborhood stories. It offered us solutions like use of technology, tower guard, and aerophonic. It also gave us an insight and recommendation that it could be introduced as a part of school curriculum. That's a great insight which I could connect with the UN Sustainable Development Goal. It gave us a confidence and hope, trust me. Why you did a transition to negative to positive stories? Maybe a recommendation is here. A slight smile and an encouraging body language would be helpful because it could capture our audience emotionally too, because we are too much involved cognitively, because a lot of information is there that are so presented in a structured way, but somewhere we want to connect with you emotionally. However, the topic that you had chosen was something that kept on gravitating our attention without much of monotony. There are a lot of data available in your speech and scientifically supported information, nothing of intuition, nothing of picked up from a popular stories or popular news. All are scientifically supported. Data was not just presented data, but as an interesting, neatly viewed information that kept the audience curiosity high and earning to hear more from you. Looking forward to hear more informative speech from you, Toastmaster Priya. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Paddy, for that beautiful evaluation. Now, lastly, we have our final evaluator for the day, Toastmaster Vishwaja, who will be evaluating our fourth speaker, Toastmaster Aditi. When I asked Toastmaster Vishwaja what her go-to Ganesh Chaturthi sweet was, she said it was kheer, because who doesn't love kheer? Over to you, Toastmaster Vishwaja.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Cerebral palsy is not contagious, but my smile is. As a speaker, I believe that our true victory isn't just in conveying words, but conveying feelings through those words that touch our heart. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests, and my speaker, Toastmaster Aditi. I believe a good beginning is a job well done. Toastmaster Aditi started with a note. Imagine. Imagine is a word of power. It has the potential to grab immediate audience attention. Imagine you have a life in a wheelchair. This, said with a proper tone and vocal variety, was definitely a food for thought for all of us. Don't you agree? Hence, I loved your beginning, Toastmaster Aditi. You had a heart-touching content. You explained the tips and tricks that were involved in handling a specially aided child. Even though we might not have gone through it, but through your speech, we definitely experienced that in a short span of time. And that is commendable. And all of this was only because there was a lot of passion and empathy in your content, and we could see that through your eyes. When your sister came to greet us, and she had that humble smile, I couldn't help but connect with you even more. Since you will be repeating this speech in future, I would like you to work on a few points. First, vocal variety. You practice vocal variety and you have it. But today in your speech, I could see it only towards the beginning. When you said, which parent would like to hear that the child is suffering from cerebral palsy? It could have been, which parent would like to hear that? Second, for the speech, to connect with the audience, you need to pause at keywords. For example, cerebral palsy. Cerebral is related to the brain and palsy is related to muscle movement. This helps the audience to grasp your keywords better. I know you have a lot to share. There's a lot of content, but pace in a speech plays an important role. Spread out your speech and go a little slower so that we could connect and be on it, be with you in the flow. And lastly, I would love to see a few hand gestures that will be like icing on the cake. So to summarize, Toastmaster Aditi, I loved your compassionate content, the glimmer in your eyes and love in your voice. I loved your energy, the way you weaved your speech and your delivery. Work on pauses, pace, and pitch, and you will become a wonderful speaker in future. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishwaja. Those 4 evaluations that we just had were so crisp, apt, and so detail-oriented. It was only befitting that such eloquent speeches were followed by such eloquent and perfect evaluations. I would now like to move on to the next segment of our general evaluation, the tag team report. The grammarian, the hour counter, and the timer have all been diligently observing all our speakers throughout the meeting, and now it's time for them to give their report. I would first like to call upon our grammarian, Toastmaster Monica, to give her grammarian's report.
Good evening. Today we witnessed an overflow of good usage of language and some fine vocabulary and use of metaphors. Some rhythmically structured sentences which made use of words like hustle and bustle as TM Lloyd used in his speech, resonating with nature as TM Kriya used in her speech. We started with a phrase by our president, TM Sartorio, who started with a phrase from the horse's mouth. TM Babita used phrases like time one lost can never be regained. TM Nilofer also started her speech with a phrase. So there were many uses of phrases. There was a volley of some fantastic vocabulary like delectable, used by TM Stuti in the beginning, pinnacle, divinity, gratification, eloquent, endearing. Some incorrect usage of grammar which I noticed was like time waits for no man, not no men. There was a pronunciation of the word asked has to be asked, not asked. T-A-U-G-H-T, taught, not thought. Revelation, not revelation. In addition to that, I am happy to announce that the word of the day that was rapturous was used at least 9 times by the speakers, where TM Struti used it twice. So I hope that everyone can use this word again in their future speeches. With that, I end my report. Thank you so much. Over to you, TM Stuti.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monica. Moving on, I'd like to call our timer, Toastmaster Babita, to present her timer's report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Stuti. Hello again, everyone. I am back with my report as I promised. I'm in awe to see how timed today's meeting is. Our meeting started right on time at 7 p.m. All our speakers were well within time. Our icebreaker and prepared speech section started before time at 7:20. As we progressed, the first icebreaker speaker, Toastmaster Nilofer, took 6 minutes and 13 seconds on her speech. Our second icebreaker speaker, Toastmaster Lloyd, took 5 minutes and 41 seconds. Our first prepared speech by Toastmaster Kriya was 6 minutes and 24 seconds long. And a second prepared speech by Toastmaster Aditi was 5 minutes and 19 seconds long. All 4 speeches were within the stipulated time and took exact 30 minutes overall. Moving on to table topics, our table topic section was crisp 20 minutes long, which is perfectly within time. Even the debate was right at the edge of time at 3 minutes and 29 seconds. Moving on to evaluations, our first evaluator, Toastmaster Shantanu, took 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Our second evaluator, Toastmaster Aarti, took 3 minutes and 16 seconds for her evaluation. Our third evaluation by Toastmaster Paddy was 3 minutes and 4 seconds long. And our fourth evaluator, Toastmaster Vishwaja, not naming my favorites, took 3 minutes and 16 seconds per her evaluation. Overall time taken by evaluators was 20 minutes. That is it from your timer. May Lord Ganesha, the mentor, the protector, enlighten all our lives. Back to Toastmasters, Stuti.
Thank you, Toastmaster Babita. Lastly, I would like to call upon our counter, Toastmaster Gurmeet, to present her our counter's report.
I have divided the section into 3 parts, like one with 0 fillers, 0 pauses, and 0 repetitions. And the other part consists of with less than 3 fillers, and the third part with more than 3 fillers. So people coming under 0 fillers, 0 pauses, and 0 repetitions are Toastmaster Vishwaja, Toastmaster Lloyd, Toastmaster Sharmila, Toastmaster Smita, Toastmaster Shantanu, and Toastmaster Monica. People coming under below 3 fillers, Toastmaster Nilofer, Toastmaster Aditi, Toastmaster Aman, Toastmaster Shalaka, Toastmaster Aarti, and Toastmaster Stuti. More than 3 fillers, I have Toastmaster Kriya, Toastmaster Akshay, Toastmaster Nelly, Toastmaster Paddy, and Toastmaster Babita. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gurmeet. With this, it's now time for the General Evaluator's report. We started our meeting right on time at 7 p.m. sharp by someone in the club that I'm super close to, myself, the Sergeant at Arms. I opened the meeting. Then we had the president's address, which was done on a warm note as usual. Toastmaster Sir Torio very energetically interacted with the guests, and he introduced our Toastmaster of the day with great zeal by stating that very adorable story about how Toastmaster Aman stole modaks from Lord Ganesha. Moving on to our Toastmaster of the day, firstly, he had started the preparation for this meeting way before that lovely PR activity about card making, because it got all of our creative juices flowing and even amped up the festivity in the group, because I enjoyed seeing all the entries on our Toastmasters group. Now, Toastmaster Aman happens to be my childhood friend, and we've grown up together. And I have to say, seeing him today conduct this meeting with such confidence made me feel so proud. Right from the start, when he began the meeting with that cute little Ganesha mask and that adorable video on how Lord Ganesha and Ganesh Chaturthi came to be, he had our attention till the very end. He very systematically also introduced us to the 3 segments that occur in every Toastmasters meeting, which is the prepared speeches, the table topics, and the general evaluation segments. And then he introduced the tag team as well. Coming to my tag team, again, what lovely detail-oriented reports. Toastmaster Monica, our grammarian, started with a very catchy phrase that caught our attention right away. And she explained her role, she explained the word of the day. And what I especially loved was that not only did she give the meaning of the word of the day, but then she also gave synonyms, antonyms, the usage of the word, as well as phrases that are related to this word. And this definitely helped all of us because it increased our vocabulary. Moving on to our timer, Toastmaster Babita, again, a job really well done. This was her debut role too, and she did it so beautifully. She explained her timer's role, she showed the cards, and she added that cute little festive touch by having the Ganesh idol on the cards, which I absolutely love. So well done, Toastmaster Babita. And lastly, our counter Toastmaster Gurmeet, again, another very systematic report. I loved how she divided her report into those 3 sections. That was very well done. Again, all 3 of you did a great job. That was a very well done. Moving on to our speakers. So today we saw 4 excellent speeches, 2 of which were icebreakers. And I was surprised because everyone here sounded like a seasoned speaker. Our first speaker, Toastmaster Nilofer. Your speech, it was so touching. You were so vulnerable, and we got to learn about you, about the strong woman you are, and how you emerged into what you are today through all those hardships. Your speech definitely strung a chord with all of us. It was a beautifully delivered icebreaker. Moving on to our second speaker, Toastmaster Lloyd. Your speech was a delight to listen to. Your delivery was so cheerful, it was so confident, and your story about your transition from the shy little boy that sat on the reserve bench to finally emerging into the confident leader you are today. I thoroughly enjoyed the speech from start to finish. Then our third speaker, Toastmaster Kriya. She spoke about her love for gardening. It was a very informative speech. She even referred to Toastmaster Masi. She made references to a past Toastmaster meeting. But what I loved the most was about how she started her speech by talking about how she'd gotten her love for gardening from her grandmother. And that reminded me of my own grandmother who also loved gardening. And then finally, Toastmaster Aditi. Your speech was heartfelt. It was so beautiful. You created awareness about cerebral palsy through the story of your sister. And you did it so beautifully. I loved how you started your speech by delivering it in first person and then ended very beautifully in third person. And then finally, when you introduced us to your sister, it was beautiful. These were 4 fantastic speeches that I feel very privileged to witness today. Then we moved on to our table topic session. Toastmaster Aman did a fabulous job of introducing the table topic session by comparing it to the nagging relatives that come over during Chaturthi. I couldn't help but relate. Toastmaster Aman, that was a fabulous introduction. I was chuckling throughout the whole thing. Our table topic master, Toastmaster Nelly, again did a great job. She was energetic as always. She kept all the guests very engaged. Her topics were related to the theme and they were simple as well. She was very careful to explain the theme and to explain the questions in case they weren't understood. And she also used the debate format, which was great because that kept the audience even more enthralled and even more engaged. So kudos to you, Toastmaster Nelly. That was a beautifully conducted table topic session. And then lastly, we come to the evaluation segment. These evaluations that we had here today were beyond amazing. I'm at a loss for words. Our 4 evaluators did an exceptional job, and I don't know how you guys are going to vote for the best one because in my opinion, all of them here are winners, as are all our 4 speakers. So starting off with our first evaluator, Toastmaster Shantanu. And Toastmaster Shantanu is gifted with great vocabulary. And that is something that always has my attention throughout his speeches because his delivery is always well thought out and it's seasoned with perfect grammar. And I always end up learning new words from him. He's also very observant. So Toastmaster Shantanu, kudos on that amazing evaluation. Moving on, Toastmaster Aarti, you have a keen eye for observation. You noticed even the little details like eye contact and camera angles, and you quoted stuff from Toastmaster Lloyd's speech. That was, again, another wonderful evaluation. So congrats, Toastmaster Aarti, on that great job that you've done. Toastmaster Paddy, that evaluation was superb. You noticed the minute details about the speech. You had great structure to your evaluation. It was just perfect. The recommendations were apt as well. Loved the evaluation. It was great. And lastly, Toastmaster Vishwaja. Your opening of your evaluation was by quoting a line from your speaker's speech, which was great. And then you delivered it with finesse and enthusiasm, as you always do. And you also gave your own examples of how you would have done the speech in your recommendations, which I really loved. So again, congrats, Toastmaster Vishwaja, on that fabulous evaluation. All in all, This was a great meeting. We had 4 wonderful speakers and 4 wonderful evaluations, and the table topic session as well was very fun. And overall, this was a rapturous evening. As far as recommendations go, I do have 2. First is that when I attended the MAPSA Club meeting recently, I was introduced to this segment called Listen Up. And I've been very obsessed with it because the Listen Up segment is basically, there will be one member from the club who will play a minor, it's a minor role. So they will play the role of the, I don't know what it's called, listen up person. And at the end of the meeting, they have to ask a question from all the speeches that were done that day. And this is a way to ensure that everybody was paying attention during the speeches and that nobody zoned out. So I think we could also try doing that because I think that's a great addition to our meetings. And then the second suggestion that I have is that I feel like in our meetings, sometimes the table topic session is one that kind of tends to get a bit overshadowed in the sense that the entire focus of the meeting ends up falling onto the speeches and the evaluation. But the table topic session is one that is very important because it's the connecting link between our club and the guests and who are our new members, our prospective new members. So I would recommend that we give more feedback to our table topics master. We encourage them. And if there are any recommendations that are necessary, we give those too. So if possible, I would recommend keeping maybe 30 seconds at the end of the table topic session, just to give feedback to the table topics master so they know what they did right. And if there is any room for improvement, they know what to do in the future. So I would like to conclude by saying that my favorite thing about festivals is that they bind people together, no matter what their nationality is or what their religion is. Festivals serve as a common ground for celebrating love, joy, and togetherness. And I guess we can all agree that that is exactly what we do here in Toastmasters. It is our common love for public speaking that has made us a part of this beautiful community. So this meeting has been a very rapturous celebration, and here's to many more such meetings ahead. This is your general evaluator, Stuti Gaitonde, signing off. Over to you, Toastmaster Sartorio.
Thank you, Stuti. And I have to admit, you're looking very bright today and very cute indeed. So, wow, that was a fabulous meeting. You know, all the sections were mind blowing. And the speakers, I loved how the speakers gave their personal touch in each and every speech. So that was amazing. And especially our icebreakers. For Toastmaster Nilofer, happy anniversary to you. He said today is your anniversary, so happy anniversary to you. And Dr. Cool, Dr. Lloyd, I thank heavens for Father Conceição, for finding the true Lloyd, Dr. Lloyd. And yeah, we want to see your leadership in our club as well. So please give us the opportunity to see our leadership in your club. And I have a few announcements to make. Yeah, before I make the announcement, the TMOD, as the general evaluator said, he started the meeting many days in advance. So kudos to that. And for the next TMOD, your time starts from now.
Toastmaster Sartorio, can we have the polling?
Oh, yes, sure. Okay, Zoom Master, are we done?
Yes, we are done.
Okay. So before I go on to my announcements, let me come to the people we love the most, our guest. And we have our guest, Ezildas, who is the only guest who was brave enough to take the table topics and not log off. So, Ezilda, can you give your feedback and how you liked it?
Thank you, Toastmaster Satorio. I really enjoyed this whole event of yours. It was a good experience. I learned a lot of new words and phrases, and I also understood the essence of time when it comes to speaking, public speaking. Thank you so much for having me as a guest.
Thank you for coming, and hope you can join in and be as good as your
Yes,
godfather.
of course. Aim to reach that level one day, definitely.
Yeah, you will definitely reach that level. So I have some few announcements to make. Can everybody see my screen? Yeah, this is a segment where everybody can unmute and behave like a true self. It's the awards, and so from this month we are launching the leadership program at ICG Toastmasters Club. So if you look at the tagline of ICG Toastmasters, it is where leaders are made. And when everybody comes to Toastmasters, the only focus is on public speaking. So where does this leadership come into play? This leadership comes into play when you join the XCOM. You really learn the essence of leadership. And from coming on, we want not only our XCOM to benefit from this leadership program, but everybody else as well. So we have created 4 teams within our organization. So the first one being the educational team. And of course, it's headed by our lovely VP Education, Toastmaster Vishwaja. So what is your role if you're in the education team? You have to keep track of member progress and educational laws. And what do you benefit if you're in this team? You can plan all the meetings, so your planning skills improve. And you have to be in touch. You have to be a friend with every single member of the club. So if you're looking to hone your interpersonal skills, please join this team. To join this team, you can either contact Toastmaster Vishwaja or me. Next, we have our membership team. And I think VP membership has been the best VP membership in the country. She could have formed another club in this new year. And yeah, so she'll be the best person to work with. The job of a VP membership team is to convert guests into members and to retain existing members. What do you get out of this role? You can get rid of your shyness because it takes a lot of guts to call up somebody, a stranger, and convince them to join. And by the end of the term, you will be more persuasive. And who better to mentor you than Toastmaster Sharmila? It will be worth more than an MBA degree if you join this team. Next, we have our PR team and our lovely Zoom master for today, Toastmaster Tanya. She is heading the team. So what is the role of a PR team? You have to tell the world about ICG Toastmasters Club. And the skills you learn are branding, designing, poster making, and video making, and digital marketing. And this is one team where the sky is the limit. We can take with digital marketing, we can take the club to the world. And the last, we have a newsletter team, headed by Toastmaster Nelly. And the role of this team is to compile the newsletter and the minutes of meeting. So if you are good at writing, you can become a pen master and hone your writing skills. And of course, with the minutes of meeting, you improve your leadership, your listening skills. The final announcement for today is that we are having a club level humorous contest and evaluation contest. That is on 3rd of October. So please do give your names to our lovely VP Education, Toastmaster Vishwaja. I think before the 25th of September. So that was all. Sorry.
Is there? I just wanted to ask you: is there any limit to the number of participants for humorous speech at area level? Are we putting any limit?
At club level, no. It's the only limited number of time. So we close the applications by 25th.
25th. So till 25th, even though if others have not given names, please see to it that you give your names.
Yes. So yeah. So for the humorous, we'll be closing it on 25th. But for the evaluation, we can have more participants.
Okay.
There's one criteria, Sator, that they should have renewed by the 25th, because the contest is on 3rd of October, and we should have only renewed members who have renewed.
Correct, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, that's there. Thank you, DTM Umesh, for mentioning it. So now, the moment we have all been waiting for, the awards. Over to you, Zoom Master.
I'll just share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
So any guesses for the best speaker?
Don't do the guessing.
Okay.
Anniversary girl, Nilofer.
So it is Toastmaster Lloyd.
Well done. Excellent.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
So who's the best evaluator?
Shantanu. Toastmaster Shantanu.
You are right, Toastmaster Akshay.
Wow.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Next, we have the best major role player. And
Aman Bagli will be the Toastmaster of the day.
you are right again.
He steals it
Aman.
again.
Yes.
Next, we have the best minor role player. Any guesses for this?
Our Grammarian.
You are right. I mean,
well done, Monica.
Okay, and we have the best table topic speaker.
Toastmaster Shalaka.
Yes. Yes.
Akshay, how do you know all this?
I voted them. Actually.
Very good. Very nice.
Nothing has been rigged. Trust me on this.
Just checking.
No, actually, I voted them, and see, unfortunately I dropped in between because I was traveling. Okay. So I'm sorry for the delayed this, and I was making note of all this about the speaker, but only one guess work I did wrong. That's the Nilofer. Actually, I was because she did icebreaker, right?
That's okay. Yeah, even Lloyd did the icebreaker.
It happens. Yeah, Lloyd also did icebreaker, but I thought Nilofer. That's all. No problem. It happens. Even not only I think so you stop the recording, Saturday, because it's recording, no? Please stop the recording so that we can have for 5 minutes discussion.
Yeah, so Akshay, we do have one more segment. We need to give awards for that as well.
What?
Continue, Tanya.
Yeah, so for this thing, I think Aman was very excited about this. So I think I'll hand over the mic to Aman. Aman, you can go ahead.
Okay, so
just give me a second. Yeah.
okay, ICG talent hunt card making. So the third place, any guesses?
Just tell us now.
Okay, the third place is Toastmaster Sartorio's son, Stefan.
So cute.
So nice.
Which son was this, the younger one or the older one?
The
Younger.
older.
Stefan, nice.
Chatorio, Stefan is around?
I'll just see.
Call him, call him. Okay, second place in the meanwhile.
Place goes to Toastmaster Aditi.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Congratulations, Stefan.
Stefan, congratulations, you got an award. Aman is going to send you a chocolate.
We all clear.
Thank you.
And the first place goes to Toastmaster Aarti.
Wow, oh, so
Yes.
cute.
Very nice.
I'm going to give everyone a gift.
Wow.
Yay. Excellent.
That's all from my side.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the wonderful meeting. And now I invite you for our next meeting. That is on next Thursday, on the 23rd of this month.
Yeah.
So goodbye. Be safe.
Good night. See you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Yes.
Right.
Good night. Good
Good
night.
night, everyone. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys. See you.
Good night.
Yes. Good night.